Hey everyone, welcome to the Kosher Intuitive. This is your host, clairvoyant, intuitive, energy healer, and life coach, Al Meisels, founder of the Supreme Grand Wizard of the Jewish Illuminati and Detroit, if it's relevant, Detroit investment realtor. Anyways, so welcome to the Kosher Intuitive. Today is um, anyone who watches this show, we touch on the tougher topics here. So today's show, we are talking about, I hate to say it, but the genocide going on in Iran that nobody wants to address. And it's time to get into what the energy says around this because it is dark. It is very dark. It is almost unbelievably dark, what the energy suggests around the whole country of Iran and the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Islamic regime currently terrorizing the country and terrorizing a good portion of the world. Now, I don't know the exact number, but since this war has started and people have been protesting for their freedom, all right, the people in Iran are not ethnically, religiously Muslim. They're not. They're not. And I think it's important to talk about the history of what Islam has done because it is so relevant here. It is so relevant in the conversation about Iran and how in the hell did such a horrible thing happen. All right. Islam has a history of going country to country. It is currently going on in Europe. May God save the good Europeans. May God save everybody that is innocent and forgivable in this world, but especially countries that are being miserably infiltrated with Islamic migrants. Now, we're going to talk about that in that entire topic another day because this particular topic is about the Iranian genocide that we are not even calling an Iranian genocide. But how the Islamic regime even came to power in Iran was basically infiltrating their country and conquering it, overthrowing their government, raping and pillaging their way in. So this was not illegal 47 years ago when Iran was kidnapped and basically to this day it's still being held hostage. May God save these people immediately from the hell of their government, please God, and may the wrath of God come down on the Islamic or Iranian regime so hard that they are known in global history for being some of the most evil people to ever live. Now, you guys, about 100,000 people in Iran since the protests started have been executed. People that are just trying to live while also being strangled with Sharia law. Okay? What's going on in Iran is an Islamic holocaust of innocent people. The Muslims of Iran, their regime, and most of their population, who is Muslim, agrees with this shit, have made life unlivable for the general population. And nobody, I am a big believer that nobody should have to be subjected to Sharia law. Nobody. It's horrendous. And when we get into what the energy says, listen, I'm gonna say some things in this video, in this topic, that might be difficult to hear. All right, and I can appreciate that. I really can. But if I look at what the energy suggests about Islam as a whole, all right, the whole belief system, because I'm not dignifying it, calling it a religion, all right, it's rooted in Satanism. It's rooted in Baal worship. These are practices that are found, like the founder of Islam, Amak Shemot Muhammad. Ugh, this man raped and pillaged everywhere. I mean, everywhere, everywhere. And there is no justification, all right? None, to think that a religion, an Abrahamic faith, could ever be founded, the chas v'shalom, by someone raping children, raping men, women, and children, and taking a child bride, one that we know about. I wonder how many other children were victimized while we've just heard about this poor girl. Enough is enough. All right. We have to stop. May God help you. Really. My biggest prayer at this point is whatever has happened to humanity that has these idiot people on this Muslim kick, this gross Muslim bandwagon, all right, has to knock it the fuck off. Okay? We cannot look at Islam anymore and say, oh, these are just people that have a different belief. They don't have just a different belief, all right? They do not believe in the God of Israel. They do not believe in the 72 named God. Hashem Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. They do not believe in that God. They believe in a demonic force that was conjured by this Mohammed creature who was a sorcerer who perpetuated all kinds of blood and sex magic to do the shit he did, took ancient rituals from Egypt, indoctrinated it in his actual practices of how this shit even got started. Okay? It's not okay anymore to be okay with the fundamentals of Islam, because the fundamentals of Islam are rooted in pedophilia, rooted in rape of men, women, and children. Who didn't this fucking Amak Shemo Mohammed, founder of this shit? Who didn't he rape? This is enough already. You are being dragged into hell if you do not stand with the Jewish people, with the Iranian people, with the European people, with the American people, with the Russian people, with the British people, with the Australian people, with the people of New Zealand, if the people of South America, the countries and the people of Canada who have been bombarded with this Islam shit, and they're using sorcery again, they have to be, because people are either fucking demonically possessed to be freeing Palestine and standing with the Islamic regime. You have to actually be demonically possessed, or you're just fucking stupid. Either way, you're a waste of humanity. If you can find at this point anything good about the representations that we have seen of Muslims, it's deplorable. It's despicable. Hi, Rifki. How are you doing today, sweetie? Today we're talking about the Holocaust in Iran. While people whine and cry about a genocide that isn't real in Gaza, may that shit show be brought to an end immediately with the sounding of the shofar and the standing of the Beis Hamikdash and the reveal of Mashiach ben David and Yosef immediately, please God, on the Temple Mount. Those who curse the Jews will be cursed. Amen, Rifki. And that has always happened. And we are going to see Hashem handle these fucking Muslims no different. I'm sorry. This isn't racism. This is a hatred of downright black and white, good or bad, evil or not. To hate Islam is to hate evil. It's to hate evil. They have too many problems, too many problems. Out of all of the religions in the world, and people want to come to me and say, well, Islam is the fastest growing religion of conversion. You know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. We also know that people who stand for nothing will fall for anything. We also know that people have anti-Semitic roots that will get the better of them. We also know, if you're studying the history of their conversion rates, you will also know that it is the fastest abandoned religion that people convert to. Most people who convert to Islam have no idea what they're doing until they get into this shit and realize if they're a woman, they're in for a bad deal, really a bad deal. So many people, because Jews don't fall for this shit very often. So many Christians and regular white people and black people fall for this shit, convert to this garbage way of living, realize it's a garbage way of living, and run for their life back to the church. All right? That's what happens most of the time with the people who convert. With the people who convert to Islam, most of them don't stay. And when you take into consideration how many people are fleeing for their life away from Islam, women, you see it in Dearborn all the time. Someone getting arrested trying to honor kill their child who just wants to not live under this atrocity anymore. It is an atrocity. And we have dignified a level of evil that is just blasphemous to the God of Israel. To even dignify this horse shit as being an Abrahamic faith is absurd, and it's an abomination to the name of the actual God. Islam is not an Abrahamic faith. Islam is crap, okay? Abraham would never have stood for Islam. Neither would Yishmael. You cannot hold Yishmael responsible for Islam. You hold Muhammad responsible for Islam. These people, just because they were derivatives of Yishmael, doesn't mean this was the belief of Yishmael, which it wasn't. Because this shit didn't exist back when he was alive. It is time to stop it. It's not funny anymore. We're standing in the 1930s again. And I'm going to tell you this much. My family's not dying for the stupidity of the Jewish nation. We're not. We will live. I guarantee it. I have never been okay with Islam. It has always made me uncomfortable. And now that we understand where this shit comes from May God have mercy on every single person suffering from god awful Islam, especially the people that want out. The people who are savable, a makshamo to Islam, and save these people before it is too late for them. I am praying for these left-wing idiots, the ones that are salvageable, to please God get the fuck out of Islam. Stop looking at Islam as something good. It is dangerous. It is spiritual fentanyl. It is fakakta poison. It is sorcery and Satanism mixed in a smoothie, poured onto the floor with a veil and called Islam. That it's so bad. It's so bad. And no, hating Islam is not the same as hating Muslims. I don't hate Muslims. Those are probably my fellow Jews somehow. All right? I don't hate Muslims. Not at all. I hate Islam. I hate what it's done to people. I hate the craziness that it's provoked. I hate the evil that it spreads. I hate the sexual abuse that comes along with it. Oh, Spain is fucked. Rifty, Spain is a shit show. What they just did to themselves, God have mercy on the people that are innocent that are going to be victimized. May God have mercy on those people. Mm. The amount of crime, okay, that has skyrocketed through the roof, all right? The amount of crime that's just skyrocketed through the roof right now in the most northern tip of Africa, the Spanish territory. I can't for the life of me think of the name of the particular territory, but the one that was just invaded. It's like a little piece of land south of Gibraltar, piece between Spain, Gibraltar, and North Africa, Mamash. They've never had crime ever like what they've had recently. Did you know that? Oh, honey, they're all fools. Because the people in these countries that aren't fools, that are being victimized, there's no excuse for it. And when we are seeing, the people in Iran who are being brutalized, one of the gentlemen, I can't think of his name, before he was hung, went like this. You know what? He just wanted freedom. He just didn't want to live under god awful Sharia law. And I'm done crying for these people. We have to fight for their integrity. We have to fight for their memory. I will not let the 100,000 people that were viciously, brutally murdered and martyred in the name of god awful Islam, in an attack against good, in the war of Gog Magog, good versus evil. I'm not going to let those people die and not do everything I can within my human power to make it stop and to avenge them. And I ask my God and my government to level Islam off of the face of creation. Annihilate it. Everywhere it lay. We should not have to live in this dumpster fire hell that these people have been manipulated, raped, and abused. One of the saddest stories I've ever heard. A security guard at our show was telling me one of his fellow soldiers, and I think it's called platoon, was doing a with their group of soldiers were doing a patrol over a bridge, and down the bridge was about, I don't know, they said about 20-30 feet down, like a 20-30 foot drop, so not a huge drop but not a little one either. and they saw in the middle of the day, sun shining in the sky in a right outside of Kabul, a little boy being sodomized by a Muslim man on the prayer mat, and there was nothing legally our military could do to intervene. This is horrendous. This is horrendous. And you can't expect, okay? We can't look at this anymore as a religion. You know, Russia had the right idea, all right? When they outright outlawed, oh, Rifki, it's horrendous. And Rifki, this is one story that I've heard of these selfless people who go into Afghanistan, who go into these horrendous countries and fight the nastiest evil. It's solid evil. It's solid evil. And my question is, how can we rationally expect Muslims not to do evil things, right? When their false God raped and killed everybody and sodomized children and did also. How do we expect these people to be decent when this is the foundation of what they believe? All right? It's fucked up. The Christians call this shit the Antichrist. You should. This is a danger to our democracy at this point. This is a danger to our public health. If you go to a mall nowadays or a grocery store, we have to worry about being murdered. We really do. Not a joke anymore. And the amount of crime in Dearborn by itself that doesn't get discussed publicly is horrendous. We find out about it locally, but you guys don't find out about it nationally. You know how many people are almost honor killed or honor killed? So many. I'm sorry. This isn't about racism. Racism is evil, all right? You're not allowed to be racist. But you're also not allowed, especially we as Jews, there's a concept called pekuach nefesh, that we're supposed to do everything we can to save our lives. We also have a responsibility by God to be a light unto the nations. All right? We, as the Jewish nation, have a problem with Nazis again, only this time they're Muslim. They were Muslim last time, too. I know, and the 5, 6, 10 Muslims that were decent get so much. Thank you. Thank you for the handful of good Muslims that didn't kill us during the Holocaust. Thank you so much. We've heard all about you 1,000 times. You were few and far between. Far more of our Christian brothers and sisters and neighbors put their ass on the line to save us, not you. So let's just call a spade and be fair. All right? Yes, some Muslims did take pity on Jews during the Shoah. Some did. Most of these brave souls that did this were Christian. So while we can't beat the hell out of the narrative that Islam wasn't rooted in Satanism back in the 1930s and 40s and rooted in Nazism, it was. It was. Islam's root is Satanism. If you understand everything there is to know about Satanism, Baal worship, occult worship, like your girl does, because I've studied it over 30 years, you will be able to make so many parallels between Islam and some vile brand of Satanism. I think and this is just what I think, and we're finding out conspiracy theories every day are true. I think that these people who have stood for nothing, the most of the left-wing party who stands for absolutely nothing, has been possessed. I think they've been possessed to do the shit they're doing. And my biggest hope is that whatever is possessing these people, to stand behind Muslims who are really just modern day Nazis. I'm sorry, but the followers of Islam, most of them hate us. I mean, I'm sorry, but they do. It's modern day Nazism, and they're following this shit. And these Muslims are taking you right into a grave. They're going to take you right into the grave. They really will. If you are out there freeing Palestine, there was a woman, you can't even make this shit up. There was an American woman originally from New York who had moved to Ireland. It was her lifelong dream to live in Dublin. All right, which is a beautiful dream. She moved her child there, and they had a beautiful Irish life. She went post October 7th to one of these god-awful freeing Palestine events, met herself, she was 43, 42 at the time, met herself a 28-year-old boyfriend from Jordan, and they're free, banana, from the river to the sea, he beat her to death, and her daughter found her dead in her bed. But they were free in Palestine, and she would put this beautiful narrative on social media of her sexy Jordanian boyfriend. They're freeing Palestine. They're freedom fighters. He beat her to death, and put her body in her bed, jumped a plane to Iran. He is now at large. Her teenage daughter found her dead, beaten to death, dead in her bed. That's what happens to these women who pick up men at this freeing Palestine shit. And this is one story. So if hating Islam is racist, let's just be honest for a second. Loving Israel and not standing for race and not standing for Islam would have kept this mother alive. Her beliefs to free Palestine and all this bullshit, all right, got her literally beaten to death, killed, where her poor daughter had to see her mother's dead body beaten to death. I can't even imagine if I use remote viewing. I can't imagine, because when I use remote viewing and look at the body, it's gruesome. It's gruesome. This wasn't a little beating. He beat her with his hands to death. This is what Arab Islamic men do. This is what Islam teaches. All right? We cannot expect a mosquito not to be a mosquito. Islam is Islam is Islam is Islam. Whether they're wearing the veil or not, whether they're eating the halal shit or not, it doesn't matter. But for Jews to think you can go into a mosque, you're fucking nuts. You should be going into a mosque is no different than going into the Church of Satan. And to think for a minute that it's not usser to go into a mosque the way it is a church, you're fucking stupid. That's stupidity. What are these rabbis thinking telling Jews it's safe to go in a mosque? That's absurd. It's Satanism. It's occultism. And because they've lied to you for so long, you think it's okay? I know it's not okay. We cannot stupid ourselves to death, and God willing, enough people will scream and yell and bring sense into the world and heal the world in a way that we don't have to deal with this hell anymore. That our Iranian brothers and sisters and families and cousins and friends and loved ones don't have to die for a god-awful satanic religion. What kind of religion slaughters 100,000 people or so for having a difference of opinion other than the Muslims? I mean, the Christians did, hundreds of years ago. They got their shit together right quick. The bottom line here is and was every nation who's gone against the Jewish nation, every nation, seriously, and now the Muslims are taking their swing, they missed the ball. They're fighting a war they've already lost. All right? One of the reasons Iran is fighting until they're literally going to be annihilated off the planet, and that is what is going to happen. The Iranian regime is going to be a machshamot from here to high heaven, dragged straight to hell where they belong. All right? There's not a prayer in the world the Muslims win this, because let's be real. Nobody who's ever fucked with our nation has lived to tell the tale. History has taught us and will continue to teach us. Anyone who curses us, who comes after us and seeks to destroy us, will be destroyed. Trust and believe Islam will be no different. Believe it. Because the people standing with the Islams right now are gross. They're grotesque, facial piercings galore, weird colors hair, all sorts of bullshit. And they would go to this country and be beaten, raped, if raped and beaten to death, or thrown off a crane. That needs to be a reality understood. And we have an obligation as Jews to turn completely away from evil. Islam has showed us enough that it is evil. Anything about Islam is evil. Every part of what they believe is evil. And we absolutely cannot, for the integrity of our God, let these people believe this shit they pray to on the floor, this rock they pray to in that stupid looking cube. Why do you think Jeffrey Epstein had a piece of the Kaaba in one of his properties? You know the Kaaba, that stupid rug tapestry they put on that dumbass cube every year? Well, they cut it into pieces and give it to people throughout the world for thousands, hundreds of thousands, into the millions of dollars. Jeffrey Epstein, a Makshamo, knew Islam was rooted in Satanism. Do you realize what's interesting? Jeffrey Epstein didn't go after any of the stuff in the temple, huh? But he went after Islamic stuff. Why? Because he knows it's sorcery. Because he knows it's Satanism. He knows it's black magic, all affiliated. He knows that. He knows that. All right? He knows that. And with Mashiach being here, and he is, he has not been revealed yet, I understand that, but that's going to happen very, very soon. Very soon. There will be no Islam when that shofar blows. All right? There will be no Mecca. There will be no Al-Aqsa Mosque, Amakshamo to that Al-Aqsa Mosque, blasphemizing our Temple Mount. And if this video triggers you, you trigger me. I'm going to stand for what is good and the integrity of the Jewish people and the integrity of God-fearing people all over the earth that just want to live one nation under one God and not have to deal with the bullshit of someone's Islamic beliefs that could murder them tomorrow, God forbid. May no other Muslim have a chance to slay another innocent person again. This can't continue. And to not stand with the Iranian people, check the foundation of your soul. Because if you can't stand with the Iranian people who are dying for their lives, I don't know what the fuck you'd want to know me for. And on that note, I'm going to wish you a good day. Thank you again for listening. This is Yael Meisels. The show is the Kosher Intuitive. If you would like to book a private appointment, please reach out. Sessions start for opening clearings at $375 and $200 an hour. I also offer sliding scale prices for those who qualify. And if the business, the Kosher Intuitive, touches your heart and you are on board with our mission to make sure that everyone who comes to our establishment is able to receive holistic health healing services, please give us your donations. It makes it easier for us to say yes. We always say yes. We never allow, my partners and I never allow finances to stand in the way of helping somebody. So please, if this company touches your heart, if our work touches your heart, please consider donating. We also assist with families who have loved ones who are missing. That is the episode for today. Thank you so much for listening. All consultations are free, and wishing you a wonderful and blessed day. Be well.